Hi everyone, so last week I posted a video with some very dark subject matter. There was a guy making a sulfuric acid bomb to disfigure someone, and two guys brutally murdering people with hammers. I tried to warn people not to Google it, but apparently that just made things worse and everyone Googled it, and saw some very horrible videos. The basic consensus was that many people who watched that video just flat out lost faith in humanity as a whole. So this week I'm posting something a bit different to try to balance out that bad karma. These are videos that will hopefully restore your faith in humanity and basically just make you feel the good feels. It's the top 5 real life heroes. The Amsterdam Samaritans. In Amsterdam, the Netherlands, a woman parks her car in a space near one of the city's famous canals. However, as she steps from the car, it begins to roll forward toward the canal. Her baby is still inside. The mother jumps back inside the car and tries to free the toddler, but she's too late. The car careens off the bank and lands in the canal. The automobile quickly begins sinking, with the mother and her child still inside. Heroic passerby immediately begin jumping into the canal to rescue them. First one, then another, and another. In all, 4 men dove into the canal to save the woman and her child from the rapidly sinking car. The mother and her baby were taken to the hospital with minor injuries and have now fully recovered. The Supermarket Rescue. In Perth, Australia, one ordinary night at an IGA supermarket became anything but ordinary. As patrons line up at the cash register, suddenly a woman comes running to the front of the store in a panic, screaming, "Help my baby, she's not breathing." The hysterical woman hands her 2-year-old child over to the strangers at the counter, then frantically runs from the store to alert her husband, who is in the car outside. Rowan O'Neill, a construction worker with no medical training, springs into action. O'Neill begins checking the child's airways for any signs of blockage. At this point, the child's father runs into the store. Confused and helpless, he lapses into a panic at the sight of the lifeless body of his baby girl. Rowan O'Neill lifts the child onto the checkout counter, and going solely on instinct and vague memories of a one-day CPR class he'd taken in high school 10 years earlier, he begins mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on the child. After over 90 seconds, the girl finally starts breathing and opens her eyes. Rowan alerts the hysterical father. The girl's life has been saved. The 2-year-old girl spent one night in the hospital being treated for a high fever and was then able to return home, healthy and happy.
You don't think you're a hero?
No, definitely not. Saint Bernard. In Brooklyn, New York, a 7-year-old autistic girl somehow manages to climb through a 3rd-floor apartment window and stands on top of the air conditioning unit. High above the concrete sidewalk below, she dances back and forth, unaware of the danger that she's in. A local resident, Stephen St. Bernard, sees the young girl in danger and without hesitation, immediately runs over to the building. He is fearful of the worst, that both the girl and the heavy air conditioning unit may come crashing down to the sidewalk below. Nevertheless, he stands his ground, determined to save the young girl. Sure enough, the girl trips and comes tumbling to the ground as screaming witnesses look on. But Stephen St. Bernard catches her, saving the girl from an almost certain death. Stephen St. Bernard suffers a torn tendon in his left arm from his heroic catch, but the girl is unscathed, not even suffering so much as a scratch.
People here say you're a hero. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. A hero's a sandwich. I just saw a kid, and that's it.
You did more than that.
Well, I would do the same for any kid. I do it for my own.
The Perth Train Rescue. Once again, we go back to Perth, Australia, which may be the place to be if some terrible stuff goes down and you need some help. A commuter on a Perth train falls between the train and the platform as the train shifts. The man suffers in agony as the train shifts again, squeezing his leg against the platform. Moving the train would shear the man's leg off, and bringing in the necessary equipment to free the man would take hours while he suffers in terrible pain. However, in an heroic effort, the train passengers band together to save the man, pushing the 43-ton train with all their might. They actually managed to lift the massive train car enough to free the man and save his trapped leg. The Seoul Subway Hero. In a Seoul, South Korea subway station, a small child wanders off from his mother and falls onto the tracks. The child's mother and onlookers on both sides of the track panic. No one is sure what to do. A 17-year-old boy walks onto the platform and sees the situation. Without a moment's hesitation, he charges through the crowd, crossing 2 sets of subway tracks. He grabs the child and rushes him back to safety, just as 2 subway trains barrel toward the station. The 17-year-old subway hero gained national celebrity in South Korea, and and the clip of his courageous rescue was featured in a national TV commercial for Korea Telecom.